Good evening and welcome back. I'm Teddy, and you are listening to Night Talk. So go ahead and grab a glass of wine. I have my Gatorade, and let's begin. I see my moderators. Sound is good. Great. And all of you. Please hit the like on your way in, and you can email me right now at unwinewithteddy at gmail.com. It's D for day negative 2. We're still 3. It feels like I can say 3 because we're kind of entering into it, right? But it's really what? D for day negative 2, part 2. It's Wednesday night. I said I was going to wait, and I did. I said I wasn't going to jump the gun, and I didn't. I allowed time for mailing delays, clerk processing, and the ordinary lag that happens in real courts, not in live stream courts. As of tonight, the docket is still unchanged. The last entry in this case remains December 10th. That's not my interpretation. That's the public record. We are now entering what I'm calling day negative 3, following a court order's deadline of December 15th, because at close of business at 4:30 today, that ended that day. No response has been filed that's on the record, on the docket. No request for additional time appears. Nothing has been entered. I want to be very clear about what I'm going to say and what I'm not going to say. I'm not announcing consequences. I'm not declaring findings. I'm not predicting what a judge will do. I am documenting what exists and what does not. This is also not a case of incapacity or confusion. No. The record answers that question for us because on December the 10th, the defendant filed a lengthy technical response opposing a different motion. That filing required time. It was, I think, around 20 pages. And it took effort and legal engagement. So the docket reflects participation since the judge's order for the defendant to identify her legal name and postal address. That was on December 4th. 6 days later, as I mentioned, December 10th, well, the defendant was filing things. So the docket reflects participation. It reflects awareness. It reflects the ability to comply with court procedures. And at the same time, a far simpler directive remains unanswered. A written notice identifying a legal name and postal address ordered to be filed by a date certain by December 15th. No filing, no explanation on the record, no visible compliance. I'm not filling in the reason. I don't need to. Courts don't operate on explanations that never make it onto the docket. This isn't about tone nor about confidence. It isn't about what gets said elsewhere. Courts operate on compliance, and compliance leaves a paper trail. Right now, the trail stopped on December 10th. An unchanged docket after a clear deadline is no longer neutral. It doesn't tell us why, but it does tell us that. I'll continue to do exactly what I've been doing, watching the record, documenting what's verifiable, and letting the docket speak for itself. I am not going to telegraph my next move tonight. But everything that matters happens there. What's next for this case? And now how this is going to be responded to by the court, again, I can't predict it, but I can document and I can decide how and when I'm going to speak legally as I continue to wait for the judge's response, sir. I said that after the 48 hours, that's when I would begin to have concern, not panic, concern. Yeah. As I take a deep breath and ponder options. That's right. The email address is at the bottom of the chat there. Okay. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. I have looked at this as far as the deadline in different ways. But no matter which way I've looked at it, I seem to come to the same conclusion. Based on what the judge ordered by the 15th to file by the 15th, I don't see any evidence of that. Could something come in tomorrow before noon? Maybe. But would it be considered timely? My opinion now is, again, based on what I said, it's been, since the order was made, there's been time. And that was evidenced by the fact that the defendant took the time to respond to something else, but something that would have taken 5 minutes to put together a notice and not 20 pages. That could have been filed by the 15th as well, because the 10th happened. Yeah. So, my opinion is that could have been by the deadline. Yeah. Because they demonstrated on the 10th that someone delivered a 20 plus page document to the court. If I'm not mistaken, let me see how many pages that was. 'Cause, there's so many documents and I want to get it right. Let's see if that one was indeed. Hang on. It won't take me but a second. Was ECF 120? It was exactly 20 pages. Yeah. So listen carefully. Listen carefully to everything that I say. Yeah. Because, things can be misconstrued and twisted. And, I've experienced that before. It's interesting. It's very interesting. It is. There's so many different ways that this can go now. I mean, barring that nothing changes tomorrow. And what I mean by that is, I looked up the different rules. Filing, we talked about filing. That's not sending a letter in secret to the judge, to the court. That's not filing the response to the clerk. So the way I see it right now, I told you, I don't see anything on the docket. I don't see anything. Mhm. I said there were 3 doors. One was compliance. A response would be filed by the 15th, the deadline, December 15th. I said door 2 is refusal. Just non-filing. And then I said 3 would be filing something that is not truthful. So I don't see number 3 on the docket. No, I don't see number 3. I don't see. Let's just do this one at a time. No. Because in my opinion, it doesn't count, and I'm just talking about any of them. It doesn't count to send something to the judge because they're not going. That's not filing. That's not. I'll just let me just. Okay, this is a little bit more than I've said before. I said I would talk a little bit more after the 48 hours. My opinion is that's not filing. I think the judge would have, it's the district judge specifically, would have been more explicit if that were in the case or the option. Yeah. And even if someone was going to file something sealed, there's rules. And the judge has, magistrate judges talk to us about, things that have been done incorrectly and not, about sealing and those kinds of things before. And that leave must be asked before just filing, to seal. You have to have asked leave. Well, what was filed on the 10th had nothing to do with that. what was filed on the 10th had nothing to do with the response, in my opinion, to the judge's order at all. It was a response to a motion that I filed. So it didn't. And so that's why I say I don't count that. Okay. I said number 3. No, I don't see that. I don't see anything yet but that. Number 2, refusal. Unless somebody thinks that they can, mail something in at the last minute and it appears, somewhere in the future. Right now, I don't even, as far as speculating that that's what they did, I didn't say that's what they did. No, that would be speculation. But I see them as outside of the deadline. I see them as outside of the deadline. That's it. Even if something came in, I see it as outside of that deadline right now. I did, and I have said that the most I've seen is, 2 days. But that's been my experience. But I did say tomorrow now. From Monday? If something was actually filed on the 15th, I think it would show up. And I did say, I think yesterday, I said at the latest it would show up, should show up on Wednesday. But I said, if it doesn't show up on the docket after 48 hours, then that's when I would, like now, show some concern. Like, now begin to think that this is more. This is more than maybe an administrative error or oversight or anything like that. And I say oversight and I go back to something was filed very lengthy on the 10th. So the defendant was actively engaging with the court. Somebody walked into the court, house downtown and delivered a 20-page response after the judge, made the order for them by. So they could have delivered the name and postal address on the 10th as well. But they had until the 15th as the deadline. So the priority was not that. I have to say it. Now that I could say, that was not the priority on the 10th. No. No. No one can convince me that it was the priority. No. Because something else was filed ahead of it. that took in the defendant's mind, it superseded the court's, the court order, because the court didn't order the defendant to respond, nor order me to file. So as far as a priority, as you can see, the judge hasn't responded to what I filed yet. On the 5th is when I filed. And the response to what I filed came in on the 10th. So the judge is waiting for the response, the order that she made on the 4th. So that's why I say, where would be the excuse? Because they were capable of responding by creating a 20-page document. So I'm just telling you what lens I'm looking through. And anyone else would at least say, if someone says an excuse, I couldn't do it, I forgot, it didn't, it got lost in the mail. I, for some reason, don't even think that that would be said. In other words, it wouldn't make sense. Mhm. Yeah. So that kind of set up a, I don't know, maybe I can think of it as, let me see how I can think of it, put it in the right words, kind of a self trap, I guess, something like that. At least would trap that answer. Then we would just rule that out or as a response. Mhm. So again, something magical, nothing magical, happens. Magic. No. Could something still arrive? Yeah, I guess so, it could. But I'm talking about the deadline. I'm talking about the judge saying bye and an excuse. No one could make an excuse and say they couldn't get it to the court by that deadline. That just, in my opinion, again, this is my opinion, that just, I don't know, that just wouldn't seem to land so softly. I don't know. Mhm. Okay. Um, I will now tell you something that I haven't told you before that I put in a filing. And it is, I put it in, I believe it was my response to uh, the answer to ECF, or my response to ECF 77, the renewed motion to dismiss my case. Let's see. And I just thought of it because someone put something in the chat. And I'm going to pull it up so I can respond to it. Because I have not read from ECF 104, the 262 pages that I submitted to the court. And let me pull that up. I have it up. Let me just pull it over here and set up the screen so I can show you. And I will respond to, I see someone's questions and comments. So hang on. Let me just throw this across the screen. And I'll see if I can bring it over. Just trying to pull up that section. It's been a while since I've all right, let's go here. And this is page 31 of 262, which really begins after I, submit affidavits and everything. Okay, and my argument. So this would begin a table of contents to my exhibits. Let's see if we can put this in the center. All right, so my main exhibits, A1 through J, included documentary and evidentiary materials cited throughout the main brief, including copyright filing, service proofs, court determinations, and relevant screenshots or communications. Then part 2, I had transcript excerpts, and those were, the way I notated them were T1 through 33. All right. And that included copyright image, Miss Evans, Michigan directed defamation, beginning at April of 2022 through April of 2024, chronological pattern of harassment, conspiracy, and form directed misconduct. And then I had other declarations. Let's see. And an Appendix A, which I said was available upon the court's approval of leave. Let's just see. Hang on. There's one thing. Hang on. So which one is that? Wait a minute, I'm looking over something. Exhibits B1 through B3. Let's see where those would be. Hold on. Oh, okay. All right. I'm in the right one. All right. So in this next section, all right, so this, I had expanded all of these, but let me just go down to Exhibit B. I put in Exhibit B1 the June 17, 2025 complaint, Robertson versus, that would be, I think I'm pronouncing it correctly, Kakoy Germain. That would be Magis. Case number, Northern District of California. And I put here, confirms defendant's initiation of a federal case within California, establishing her physical or legal presence in the Northern District of California. Then there was Exhibit B2, a civil cover sheet listing Walnut Creek, address 2920, Cameo Diablo Suite 100, number 205, demonstrating defendant's California domicile or mailing base, rebutting her representation of unknown domicile. Exhibit B3, a receipt of civil filing fee of $405 in that case, Robertson versus Kakoy Germain, in the U.S. District Court of Northern District of California domicile, rebutting her representation of unknown domicile. Exhibit C, U.S. Copyright Claims Board finding defendant Daniel Robertson engaged in bad faith litigation, Robertson versus Kakoy Germain. CCB order, bad faith conduct. Robertson used a Los Angeles address confirming she was operating from California and contradicting her claims of unknown domicile. Yes. So let's go here so I can show you. Right here, B1. The complaint, the date, the description, and I showed the receipt of the complaint that Daniel Robertson, you see here, filed in the United States District of California. Although she withdrew it in 2 weeks, after 2 weeks, versus Maggie Kakoy Germain. I showed the judge this. Mhm. Along with the cover sheet of the filing showing that there's a Sheridan somewhere in California, county of residence of the first listed plaintiff. Sheridan, Daniel Robertson. She put that down. Mhm. Check boxes. And then Daniel Robertson. I said, note the signature on the bottom of the cover page is Daniel, like a man. Daniel Robertson, not Danielle Robertson. But here it's Daniel. But this is the point. I put here, let me just read my description. Civil cover sheet accompanying defendant's complaint lists her business service address as 2920 Cameo Diablo, Suite 100, 205 Walnut Creek, California, confirming her California residence and jurisdictional ties. At least that's my argument. I have not had a response yet on this, but I'm letting everyone know that I've included that to show presence here in the United States. At least legally, she's written it here. She filed in a United States District Court in California. Yeah. I didn't make an announcement to the world that I was going to include it, but it's there before I included it. Because it's a legal document, it's in court records. Mhm. And I also showed the bad faith Copyright Claims Board and what they said, the United States Copyright Claims Board, Daniel Robertson versus Maggie Germain. So not just me, but let's look at something else, a pattern. Let's look at real records. Let's look at another court and how they responded. I let the filings speak for themselves. And what the Copyright Claims Board said to this person who filed a claim knowingly that this individual didn't have a residence in United States, but put on a document that they lived in California, knowing they lived in Canada. Even though it's not me, it goes to the credibility and it goes to what was found here. Mhm. So someone put in the chat. We go back. This comment. The lawsuit she filed against Maggie, they withdrew when she realized she was supposed to show up on a Zoom. So she's evading, she has a history. But she filed the case against another individual. Why didn't you respond? See, I can talk about another case here. Why didn't she respond? She ghosted the CCB appointment that she was supposed to be on camera. She ghosted them. That's Danielle Robertson, the alias. So it's on record in my case. I didn't put the word ghosted, but I put, what was all of that it's there, that she didn't show up. And she didn't give a courtesy call to say, I'm not coming. Rather, she withdrew the case, closed, and then left it open as without prejudice so that she could file again. So what was her purpose? When put to the test, someone could say, and you're saying this is what you think, she was participating until they gave her that date to click that link on a Zoom and show her face and answer, be accountable. And she talks about accountability. She wasn't accountable to the CCB. They had a date, they had a time and a place, a number, and she ghosted them. They wanted to ask her questions about what she filed, give answers, be accountable. That's why I say, and I don't back down on it, these are receipts. So when she talks about accountability, she doesn't talk about that. That is why it goes in one ear and out the other. She is not accountable for the things that she has done in that instance in the CCB. Let's just stay focused on that because that's a real receipt. That's in the past. That's history. That's why I say what I have said with receipts. I said, surprise me. I'm still waiting for the surprise, but I said nothing. It would surprise me. That could be a long way to get that answer out, but that's how I answered it. Yeah. She says she always wins. Is that winning? I have a lot of documents. I can't tell you what I plan to do. Exactly. I'm gonna follow the law, and I'm going to look at options. I have concern, but this is the beginning of day 3. There's still something, it's like, what if something comes in? So I'm not comfortable yet saying what I'm going to do. And I don't think anyone is, well, some people are asking me already, kind of trying to, figure it out. What if this happens? Are you going to do this, this, and that? Well, I'm not telegraphing. I know that eventually, if it remains like this, yes, the I do not think that the judge is going to sit on this and not have a response, even if I didn't have a response to it. Or, yeah. hmm Because, again, the way I see it right now, I don't see a response. Not I don't see anything on the docket. Yeah, that's what I mean. Mhm. So that no one takes it out of context. Yeah, I see cups. I see, and this is the first time I've seen Liza. Lazai. Maybe I pronounce your name Lizaka, Melissa. Mhm. And let me tell you, there's another plaintiff, and I'm just going to say down in the same courthouse, in the same federal court. Okay. And that judge already knows about my case because my case has been noted in the other plaintiff's case several times with the so that judge is definitely following my case and aware of it. Okay. So it's still early, but the same defendant, Danielle Robertson, has been given an order in that case to respond to a complaint by January 21st of 2026. That's coming up. It'll be here before we know it. So, this is just a question. I don't have to answer it, but I'm going to ask the question. Will the defendant, the same defendant, be allowed to participate in another courtroom and, let's just say, a response and no response in a courtroom down the hall or on another floor? I don't have to answer that. You mean I could say something? So Yeah. Do you see how this would impact the next case? No one can tell me that this will not have an effect on the next case, on another case in the same court house, federal court. Because at one point, the judge in that case was waiting to get the name, yes, and the address so that Miss Smith could serve this individual. Mhm. And when that date moved or was stayed by the district judge in my case, then the plaintiff, Smith, filed, a request to file, to get an alternate way to serve this person. And the judge allowed it because they can see what's going on. So she allowed Miss Smith to serve her through email, just like I was allowed to serve Danielle Robertson through her email. So, yeah, she has been served by both. How that's going, I don't know. Again, tomorrow we'll see. What if something comes up? What if something never comes in? You think the person is going to jump over this one and then respond, and that's going to be, no, wait a minute. Isn't there something down the hall? Again, I don't know. That's in the same federal court. These judges know each other. They know what's going on in the different courtrooms. Apparently, because she made reference to my case some time ago. Yes. And just like I made reference to Maggie's case, where it was appropriate, I didn't just put it in there just to put it in there. No, that was not for some type of theatrics. Unlike when the defendant put Maggie's full page picture and thumbnail multiple times in the case under what she filed, which had nothing to do with me. But she introduced her for theatrics. But I introduced it because it's something legal going on, or was. And I didn't put up her picture. I put up her case. Something a little different. So why didn't she, when she was filing, Maggie's picture, why didn't she put up the case? Why didn't she talk about the bad faith and her filing in California? That's okay. She can pick and choose. Right? Just saying. A little bit more. I haven't talked like this in a bit. Just waiting. Yeah, I'm still patient. But now this is gone from neutral. It's more or less a little concern. Cup says after submitting 1,876,346 pages to the court, I know it's ridiculous. There is no excuse as to why they haven't responded. Exactly. It's very simple. A name and an address. Once again, for the record, for those, there's probably someone who's not been here before. I do have receipts where Daniel Robertson said, and I've read it, if she's ever thinks she's going to be found out, she's going to disappear. What does disappear look like? Somebody came into the chat the other night, I think, and said nothing is going to happen to her. Did I say anything was going to happen? They were dropping something for, I think, another reason. Okay. What does disappear look like? Do I know? Mm-hmm. But she's given us all kinds of signs and, sayings and things, things she has put down, you know, recordings, I should say, of what her intentions are in multiple over the years. Yeah. I think if there's not a response, the response where she gives her legal name and her address, she doesn't do that. I'm just, the way I'm thinking now, this, and I've said this before, I think this is bigger. Because who would, after all of this, not respond to a court, to a federal court? Who would do that? I mean, at some point, you just, and I'm still waiting. Remember, so if anyone runs and says, I'm asking the question, who would do that after this kind of time? What are they protecting? If it's not that, at some point she has put in a video, oh, if I show up to the court, I'm cute in the face, small in the waist, or something like that. Well, right now I don't see any response on the docket. And, when asked by the CCB out in California, well, she ghosted them. So I'm not so sure about this. Yeah. Since says she looks better than everybody, she's this and she's that. Okay. All right. I mean, if she really thinks she's gonna win, show up, respond. If she really thinks she's going to persuade the judge, like she said, she's going to persuade the judge. Well, the judge ordered her. So far, nothing has changed on the docket. Maybe there's going to be some surprise, a late surprise. I really still don't know. And I haven't told you yet how I'm going to, what my next move is going to be. Mm-hmm. I don't want to jump the gun either. Mm-hmm. But now I'm past that 48 hours and I'm just like, now I'm beginning to get, just a little concerned. Not panicking. Why? Mm-hmm. But I know, please stop talking about Val and accountability. I think, isn't this her last one? Stop it. Because she wasn't accountable to the CCB. She didn't show up. Instead, she ditched. She ghosted them. She didn't even go the distance. And now, yes, it's in my filing. I don't know how the judge is going to respond. And that's just a small part, of everything that I filed, but I wanted to show you that. So it's contradiction all over her. So her newbies and everybody listening to that montage, and selective responsibility, selective accountability, and now look how folks are moving. Didn't I tell you it's going to be kumbaya by Christmas? Playing in your face. That's how I see it. I'm talking about, this 20-part series with Val. This Cry Me a River and Make Me Accountable tour. Stop it. Stop it. And I don't know how. I didn't even know she was on still on YouTube. I'm just going to divert for just a second since I'm talking about that. And I only caught just a tad bit of it. Maybe I shouldn't even mention it. Sweet Pea Diary put her 2 cents in it. So about that, I guess everybody's doing it. Came up in my feed. I didn't really listen, but everybody's putting their 2 cents in it. People been around long enough. Yeah. Yes, she put her 2 cents in it. And then said she wasn't trying to, she's always loved Val or something like, always liked her. But she put her 2 cents in. Yes. Like, I know. Accountability, please. Let's see. Maya. Accountability on a recycled trauma for clicks and views and cash apps. And yes, Danielle said, thank you for your cash app. Yeah, now she's really bold about it. Thank you for the cash app. Mwah. Thank you for the cash app. It's about accountability and on a recycled drama, clicks and views, and cash apps for those who missed it 2 years ago. It's so like playing in the face of the court and just people. I said that, yes, because that's a play, in my opinion. Just like a doormat with people. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how this is going to affect the case. I don't know. Yeah. But she does not want to be held accountable, I can tell you that. Oh, so I don't want to hear about accountability, not from that person. Show us what accountability looks like. Show Val what accountability looks like. A for accountability. Do as I say, not as I do. So, this was the part. No, wait a minute. Okay, now I thought about what Sweet I did hear this part. She told Val, this is Sweet Pea Diary. She told Val something like this. Val, you need to, basically go away. Not just a day or two. You need to take some real time and think about, what you've done. She said, I went away. And then she said, I'm still away. I don't know if it was by choice or, but she said she went away. And she told Val her advice. No, take some real time off. No, not a day, not a week. No. Val, you need to take some real time. And then she's like, I didn't really, I don't mean no harm by it, but you need to go away, Val, basically. And really reflect, get it together. And then when you come back, people are going to take you back, but you need to go away for a while. Oh boy. Yeah, I said it. I'm only going to talk about the truth. Something like that. Yeah. Go away, Val. That's what she said. Oh boy. And that when I heard that, I thought that was kind of funny. But everybody is allowed to put in their 2 cents because this is a community. As okay, let me just refocus. But yeah, so you got the update. I've been on for an hour and 15, and you know what happens after the hour. Yeah. So the gaslighting is real on the YouTube streets. Everyone is a psychologist out here on Cloud9. Mm-hmm. Playing in people's face, got the advice. Accountability. Yeah. Oh boy. One day they'll love you, the next day They can't pack your suitcase fast enough. Yep. Um, yes, it is recycled. By MLK Day. Yeah, that might be another day. Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, that's coming up real soon. Hmm. Yeah. That's why I said it's just, well, you know what it is. It's so obvious. At least my impression of it is. Um, who's the troll? I haven't really looked. Who's the troll? Um, I don't know. I said anything is possible. I haven't ruled out anything. Nobody is going to walk out, and put on their platform. I mean, they can say anything they want, but it won't be true. I still say anything is possible. I'm just saying I don't see anything yet. And that leaves, yeah, like a little concern. Yeah. And if the days continue like this, this week, it's going to be inevitable. Yeah. Yeah, the mail, it's not going to be about, it's Christmas. The how all that needed to be taken into account. And you know what? They filed on the 10th, so that's not going to that's that won't fly, not here. But it doesn't have to fly here. It doesn't have to fly by the judge. And this judge, I don't think, is kind of like, this is not. This is a district judge. We've already seen how serious she is. Yeah. The judge might have something to say about my filings late. I don't know. But right now, the judge isn't responding to any of that. She is, you know, she made an order. And that's what she was waiting for. Okay. So I don't see anything on the order where she said you can sneak something in or you can send it to me directly. File it. If you look at the, rules, it's with the clerk. Unless the judge gives you, you mean to tell me behind the plaintiff's back, the judge and the defendant are working something out, and I'm not going to be apprised of it? I'm not going to have any kind of say, response? I don't think that's how it goes. I don't think I can sneak something to the judge and the defendant not know about it. I don't think that's how it goes. I'm not a lawyer. No. You mean after this order, suddenly the judge is going to start? Okay. People can think whatever they want. I can't really. Yeah, anything's possible. I don't know. I don't think somebody's going to break the law, go against the rules, but I don't know everything. Yeah. And yes, Stormy, Says, so you would think the judge sees all this, what all this person has done. He's wasted the court's time and attached people and gotten away with it. And yeah, those things are still in the document. Yeah, a lot of it. Ah, yeah. All comments and opinions are allegedly. Huh. I want justice. I want accountability. I want this case to move forward. And people don't really understand. The name is important. The name is important for this case to move forward. Now that we're past this deadline, this getting the name isn't for what people are thinking. It's for the case. We need legally, things need to be in place. Mhm. I don't know all the rules and everything, but there's a huge question that still lingers. Jurisdiction and name. Mhm. And if this information is going to be withheld, not given, which I'm not certain yet, then I really don't know. I don't know all of my options yet. And I don't know all of the possibilities. What the judge might do, in a case like this. There are all different options that a judge has before her. Mhm. I actually want this case to move forward into the next, go through that next door with the case moving forward. Beyond that, because what happens next, remember what I said. Mhm. That opens up that takes this into a whole new level. Mhm. Yeah. I haven't read my filings recently. And even that one, there's a lot in there. A lot of things that have been asked and said, and a lot of things that she's asking now. Yeah. Um, but right now, the judge holds the, yeah, she has the gavel. Yeah. And I don't expect, this is not speculation. My expectation now is that, you know y- as far as any other filings outside of what was expected to be filed, on December 15th, this individual couldn't just skip over and then start filing other things. And ignore that because that was kind of a make or break moment. Yeah. Because I was expecting some information so I can update the complaint. A name. This is very important. Yeah. I don't know how many times I can say it, but it is. Let me see if I can read any more comments. Again, you can email me at unwinewithteddy@gmail.com. And we're good. Yeah. We go down. We have 53 likes. That's good. Opinions, comments, and views of the chat are allegedly. Yeah. I mean, I only for Val. I don't have anything against her. So I've never, despite what has been said about me, I've always wished her, anything that has to do with health, any of that, physical, mental, any of that. Get the help that a person needs to heal. Yeah. Yes. I hope 2026 will be a great year. It's the year of the horse. Okay. Let's see. What do we have here? I see a face. Yeah, a storyline. Again, I just, yes, next year. Well, this year has been interesting. No one can say that a lot has not been accomplished, but here we are. We got to this point, and this was a crossroads. Yeah. No one thought we would get to this point, but without going over, gotta, yeah. Oh, I can't even tell you what some options are that I'm thinking about. Legally. Let's see. Got no comments on Val's illness, but she, like others, are used and thrown away accordingly. Yeah. D for dash. Yep. Yeah. So I think everybody's been pretty respectful. I haven't seen all the comments. I did see a little face there. Yes. Let's see. Yeah, people do like to look at chat. Oh, you know what? I haven't finished really watching anything with whatever ruling. I think he says something about he won. I just haven't read it all or looked at it. But if he has and he can get his channel back, good for him. Um, hmm, that's interesting. Well, yes, that's on record. Old school says, Teddy, I can say you did that dang thing on getting the judge to rule DR in revealing her real legal name. That is absolutely on the record an order from District Judge Levy. Now, what she's going to do about it or what she's already done about it, I can't, the jury's out still. Uh, the jury is out. Concern is in, and it's almost 11 o'clock. Mhm. Let's see. I can't believe that people tell her to go away. Coming. Okay. No, I can't take a ghost to court. And the judge knows that too. You know, we need a name, a real legal name. Mhm. Yeah, I was just about to say something. Um, what is this? I was in. What kind of tea she is? I agree. I agree. The bewitching hour. Yes, it is. Okay. I said there was something that I couldn't talk about until. And I'm just like kind of waiting. Hmm. Maybe something will materialize. I'm not holding out any false hope. Nope. I'm not. Yeah. Yeah. By the way, as far as disappearing, a person can be like way gone, even with the internet. A person can appear like they're still present, leave channels up and do all kinds of things, but they could be gone. They could be slowly. Yeah, I don't know. I see that in the chat. So yeah. If did I say this? If I said it in a different way, but if there's no response, if she doesn't respond to this case, if she doesn't respond to this case, I don't think she would respond on the 21st of January. Because what would that make sense? Or does that make sense? To ignore this, to make this stop, and then respond to another case where they've referred that they know about my case? Just watch for anything. Watch for any sudden changes, slow something. Watch how people move. They're already moving. Already. Yeah. Clean up on aisle 3. And that's not saying anything, odd. Yeah, maybe it's time. hmm Yeah, I wonder. Here's something I wonder because I'm blocked. I wonder is like other social pages, are they still up? Yeah, because if things are getting deleted, like, you know, different places, maybe that's some indication. But I wouldn't know. Yeah. All right. It's 11 o'clock, straight up and down. I think I'm going to let it be for tonight. Yeah. I wish I had something different I could report, really. But that's all I have for now. Biggest bear hugs go out to all the grizzlies and the honey bears. Please hit the like on your way out and join me sometime tomorrow. I can't say what time I'm coming back. If I will be checking the docket like I do, not just to see a response from to see if there's something that will come in from her tomorrow by some odd chance. I'm also now looking for to see if anything comes in from Judge Levy on any of the other filings, and I will be, you know, trying to figure out what I'm going to do right now. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. Baby Juju says thank you for being transparent, Teddy, and thank all of you. Yes, but that's going to do it for me. Thank you for watching. Until next time, I'm Teddy. Good night.